Everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday morning, September the 23rd. This is Coffee Talk. I'm Wesh 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. We've got a lot to talk about, don't we? We've got Invest 97 trying to do its thing down in the Caribbean Sea. We're going to talk all about Invest 97. We're going to run down the latest model data, get you covered in every way, shape, and form because the model data isn't exactly great when it comes to this. So we will talk about it in depth in just a couple of moments' time. But first, let's go ahead and get a live look outside, see what's doing. And this morning in Ocala, we are looking nice. I'll have the latest data, by the way, for Invest 97 in the bottom of your screen throughout the broadcast, but wanted to at least peek outside and see what's doing around Central Florida. This morning, a little bit of fog here in Ocala, but otherwise, a nice start. First warning live Doppler radar showing a few passing showers. Nothing too bad. Let's zoom in here, just kind of get a lay of the land. Brevard County, couple of showers. I had a couple sprinkles taking Alexander to school this morning. A little bit of other rain over near Oak Hill, Edgewater area. Temperatures out the door, very nice. I got to be honest with you. I think it feels nice outside. 75 in Orlando, 76 degrees in St. Cloud. So it's a beautiful morning for us. Forecast today brings those temperatures up. So we'll get to about 91 degrees. Not bad. Notice just a few sprinkles here or there. So that's where we're at. But of course, that's not why you're here. I would suspect you're here more to talk about the tropics. And we're going to take a deep dive into the tropics, see what's doing, and make sure everybody knows everything there is. Bottom left corner, that's Invest 97, of course. We will continue to track this storm system the next couple of days. There's the latest satellite presentation. Let me do this. Let's look at a couple of different channels of the satellite. All right, so this is going to be a kind of a super high resolution. Yeah. So we're already starting to see some convection, some swirling going on there. And in particular, kind of look in this area here. Let's just back it up. You kind of see a little bit of that counterclockwise circulation. So it wouldn't surprise me if this, upon the beginning of investigation from recon missions, it wouldn't surprise me if the Hurricane Center already kind of starts to pop this as a tropical depression or something to that effect. All right. So speaking of recon, let's just kind of get an idea of where we're at. Recon missions start this afternoon, 2 p.m., a low-level Air Force WC-130 Juliet model will be flying in. Then tomorrow, early in the morning, we've got another C-130. And then perhaps most importantly is going to be tomorrow at 8 a.m. during Coffee Talk. There's going to be a synoptic surveillance mission. This is all the good stuff here. This is all the important stuff. The more data we get into the models, the better the models will be. Okay? All right. Let's look at kind of the idea from the National Hurricane Center. So, X marks the spot. That's where it is right now. Okay? It's going to lift northwest into the Gulf of Mexico, and then from there, we have to see how it starts. All right? How it starts to turn, how it starts to develop, all of this. Okay? Here's a look at the models, okay, to give you an idea on what the tropical models are saying. We'll just start with the tropical models, and then we'll get into all the other stuff. All right. Tropical models are only able to run once it becomes an invest. So that happened yesterday. Here's those tropical models. The HMON model is the only one that's kind of a bit of an outlier. The rest of them, if I'm honest, are really tightly packed. So that's kind of a good sign. The closer the models are, the higher confidence. Remember, when it comes to computer models, consistency breeds confidence. So that's good, right? The more consistent we have, the better we're going to feel about things. So that's where the position models are going in terms of intensity products. All right, here's where the intensity models run. All right, so very clearly there's signal that we're getting to hurricane status with several models now bringing it into Cat 2, Cat 3 intensity, and the raw ships model data even hinting at the potential of kind of overproducing that. So that's where the storm system is right now, okay? It's starting to get its act together. Don't worry, we're gonna do like a super deep dive. Starting to get its act together. All right. But this afternoon is going to be the idea of us starting with inside data. Hurricane hunters are going to get in. We're thinking the next couple of days it becomes a depression or a tropical storm, enters the Gulf of Mexico, and then while we don't think for now this will be like a major hit to our area, there is certainly concern that it makes its way toward other parts of Florida. Okay? That's not where we love to be. All right, so let's look at among other things, just kind of looking. Yeah, all right. So because it's such a large storm system, this is the European, for example, you can kind of see where the European would keep hurricane force winds into the Big Bend, throw some tropical storm force gusts into our western areas, at least based on the current data, right? So before we get too much deeper into that, let's just look at some raw model data. All right, and let's just kind of look model by model. All right. So starting off, there it is developing. And let's just like reset things. So according to the GFS, by 8 o'clock tonight, we've got a closed low, which I think is probably why the Hurricane Center went ahead and not the Hurricane Center, but NOAA and the Air Force are making the call to start flying this afternoon instead of this morning. Because while we do think, and you can see it there in the bottom left corner of your screen, while we do think that it's going to try to get its act together the next couple of hours, it's not until this afternoon that we really close off a low. So that's going to be when we start seeing those recon missions. All right, that makes perfect sense. Rolling through, deepening, and then there's a landfall point. Okay, and that would be 2 p.m. Thursday. That would be 8 p.m. Thursday. What pressure are we talking about? That's a 949 low, 947 low, so about a 947 low. And in terms of winds, that would be 123 or so miles per hour. So you're talking about, knocking on the door there of a major hurricane. Okay, so the GFS isn't ideal. When we come in a little closer and look at, the state of Florida, for example, that progress puts 80 mile per hour wind gusts into like the Tampa Bay area and the Big Bend, right? Obviously, that's 8 p.m. on Thursday night. We'd be talking about wind gusts of 82 miles an hour in Ocala. Again, one run of one model. We go back a model run, and it's throwing out strong tropical storm force or low-end hurricane force wind gusts on Thursday through central Florida. We go back 2 model runs, and it's strong tropical storm force winds. So for central Florida. So, you've got, and these are just the different GFS runs. So you have to understand different models are going to throw out different ideas, right? But this is the GFS model putting the worst of the weather into the panhandle there. Obviously, with kind of a bit of a shift to the east overnight, we have to watch because this could put our western areas into play with some stronger impacts. Okay, it's too early to tell. Roxanne on YouTube says no one really knows, and that's the reality. And I want to make sure everybody here knows because we've got 2,500 people watching right now live. And I need to make sure that 2,500 people that are watching understand we're going to look at the model data together, but we still don't have a definitive path yet. Models have shifted a little to the east, but that's not to say that they won't shift more to the east or even back to the west. Okay, so that's the GFS model. And timing again on the GFS starts with some crummy weather Thursday 11 a.m. But really, the worst of it is going to be like there's 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m., 11 p.m., Thursday. Did I say Tuesday? I meant Thursday. I'm sorry. Thursday at 2 p.m., starting to get crummy. 5 p.m., Thursday, 8 p.m., and then Thursday at 11 p.m., starting to clear out, and by Friday morning, it's back to normal. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Linda says, I'm afraid in Northeast Ocala. Don't be afraid. Linda, this is why we have models. We track them, but I don't want to add anxiety to you. I want to make sure knowledge is power, okay? Want to make sure you're comfortable in that. So that's the American GFS model, okay? Let's look at the European model. And I'm just going to stay zoomed in just because, we know that this storm system wants to develop. European that's a tropical storm at 2 a.m. on Thursday, becoming a hurricane. This is a Category 1 hurricane. Winds are at 80 miles an hour, and then 88 miles. It's Back to the Future. Peak gusts there, 88 miles an hour as it makes landfall somewhere in the Big Bend, Apalachicola area, right? So, and that would put, 40, 50 mile per hour gusts into Central Florida. Okay. So we're not talking about anything massive. But, for our friends like in Tallahassee, for example, it could get a little nastier there. The Euro is markedly weaker than the GFS model, right? For us, you can see 40, 50 mile per hour gusts. For Tampa Bay, 50, 60. It looks like there's 62. Yeah, 62 mile per hour gusts. So the Euro is going to be a little bit better for everybody involved because it's a weaker storm system. Let's look at the Canadian model. All right, Canadian model. Winds are at 85 miles an hour here. Peaks at 96 miles an hour at the center of circulation. Starts coming in. You can see it kind of getting weaker there. 65. So for Tampa Bay area, that would be 67, maybe 70 mile per hour gusts. For Central Florida, it's trying to throw strong tropical storm force gusts. You can see 67, 67, 66 miles per hour, right? And then it kind of weakens. In terms of timing for that model, this is 11 a.m. Thursday. Now it looks like for now Thursday might just be kind of a crummy day of weather, right? This is 2 p.m. Thursday, 5 p.m. Thursday clearing out, and then overnight Thursday into Friday, it's kind of clearing on out. Okay? Yeah. Please give times for the models. Literally, that's what I'm doing, April. I'm doing the best I can. Janice says, knowledge is power. Thank you for keeping us safe. Of course. Roxanne's asking, why are they saying Cat 4 or 5? Well, I don't know who they are. We're looking at the models together here, though. Okay? So all they are looking at is exactly what we're looking at. Okay? All right. So that's the Canadian model. Let's look at the Icon. The Icon is a more tropical based model. And the Icon is bringing intensity up to like 60, 65 miles per hour. I'm sorry, 77 miles per hour. That was knots. All right. So, I think it's clear we're going to have a hurricane hitting the Gulf Coast at some point. It's just a question of exactly where. Now, this is where we could get into some weeds. Oh, Jesus. All right. So, this is the HAFS, the Hurricane Analysis and Forecast System. There are two parallel models to this. It's bringing the storm system. What is today? Today's Monday. So it's bringing the storm system to tropical storm status today or tomorrow, and then bringing it to hurricane status by 8 a.m. Wednesday. I would add this is probably the crummiest of all. That's 150 mile per hour winds. So the HAFS model is bringing it up to like a Category 5 storm. Obviously, that is the worst case scenario. If we look at the HAFS-B model, they run in parallel. It's a Category 4. So those are not good. Those are tropical specific models. The H-Wharf model brings it to like a Cat 3/Cat 4. That's where they may be looking at. And again, we're looking at these are kind of worst case scenarios, if I'm honest with you. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. It's possible, but you have to understand, consider your source. All right, this is the HMON, the hurricanes on a multi-scale ocean-coupled non-hydrostatic model. And that's like a Cat 4. Oh, Jesus. Let's not do that. That's like putting that Cat 4 right into the Nature Coast. So let's not even. But again, those are more outliers than anything, okay? When we look at the ensembles, and this is, this is the best thing to do is to look at the ensembles when we can. All right? When we look at these ensembles, you see a great many of them are showing that Big Bend to Panhandle window there, right? So let's understand the ensemble products and where they can really do us justice. So there's very clearly the ensemble plots. The vast majority of them are from about the Big Bend through the Panhandle, okay? Mike's asking, is it me or do the pressures on the models seem too low for estimated wind speeds? Yeah, so given where we will be at for the Madden Julian oscillation, I would say the MJO is so in phase that the pressures are wanting to be even lower. So yeah, you're not crazy to feel that way. That's kind of the way that it is. Okay. And for those of you that are watching, I just need to make sure everybody understands because this is not our normal audience. We've got about 3,000 people watching live. I just need to make sure everybody understands. We look at all the model data together. We discuss the goods, the bads, the uglies. But what we don't do is hype here. All right. So just so that everybody knows, if you're looking for tropical data, this is a two-way street. We discuss, we run the analysis, but what we are not doing is freaking out. Okay, they said it's going to strengthen to a super Cat 5 and kill everyone in the state of Florida. The good news is that's not going to happen. There's no such thing as a super Cat 5. Could this become a Cat 5? It's possible. I hope it doesn't, but it could. Cheryl's asking, does the storm have a name yet? It does not. The next name is Helene. So there's that. All right. So there's the GFS ensembles. Let's look at the European ensembles. Pressure. Multi-member. Oh, European, that's the deterministic. Here's the European ensemble. Multi-member pressure. State of Florida. All right. So here's the European model. And again, the vast majority of ensemble members are from about Pinellas County through about midway through the Panhandle. So maybe the European ensembles are a little further to the east, but ensemble guidance would dictate kind of where the hot spot is. And so, I think another way to look at it, if I'm honest, is this. What's up, buddy? You need to. We have their doctor's appointment, okay? Keep doing that because you're not in class right now. You're super starving? What are you hungry for? Well, think about it while you're learning, and we'll get you some food on the way, okay? Sir, you have 10 minutes. Continue on your eye ready. Sir, sir, I love you. Sir, you've got 10 more minutes on eye ready, and then we have to go to your doctor. Thank you. I love you. All right, so bear with me. All right, so when we look at the different model plots here, I think that this is probably the best way to look at it. This is the kind of idea of where the European wants to put things, the deterministic. Let's go back to the ensembles. I like the ensembles better. Multi-member, low locations, states, Florida. You were back and you shouldn't be. No, 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 no. We're not playing. I love you. We need to continue to learn. You have 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes in that classroom. Sir, thank you. So there's your European ensemble locations, kind of the hotspot versus the GFS ensemble. So the European's a little more to the right than the GFS. But we need to watch the Big Bend area and understand too that no matter where the low actually goes, these storm systems are broad. They're very, very big impactors, right? And so because of that, a clear case in point, look at the flooding threat from the the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, they're calling for Thursday a possibility of flooding rains for essentially the entire West Coast and then all the way up because these are big weather impactors, right? In terms of rainfall the next couple of days' time, you're talking about half a foot of rain, 2 to 4 inches. Probably we'll see higher numbers, but like here's the GFS for rainfall, by the way. Through Thursday, the model's saying 3 to 5, kind of widespread. So at this point, again, nothing yet has formed, but we need to watch. I would suspect that this is probably going to become a tropical depression or a tropical storm the next couple of days, and thus we'll get some cones. The more we get recon data, the better we're going to have from model data and all that fun stuff. I already fed the child. He's just Jana says, feed your child. He's already fed. Trust, he's already fed. He's just bored and doesn't want to do that. We don't get to do that. Mike's asking about our Futurecast model. Yes, sir. Let's do that. Futurecast model. 6Z would be the most recent. All right. So here's the 6Z Futurecast model. This is our in-house model. Doesn't go out very far, but what it does is it's a high resolution look. That's as far out as the 6Z goes, is 2 a.m. on Thursday. Obviously, our Futurecast model is wanting to bring it to major hurricane status. I want to look at the 0Z. I think the 0Z goes further. No, it does not. Maybe it does. Go back to the 6Z. I think there might be an extended range on here that I can select. All right, so that's as far as that goes. No, that's as long range as it goes. All right, so that's as long as it goes. And we clearly can see, right, that our Futurecast model is wanting to develop this into a major hurricane. So I think for now, my takeaway on this, truly, my takeaway is someone in Florida is going to get a nasty storm system. It's not going to be something that develops and we have a week or so to track. It's going to be something that's going to develop and is going to be a mess for somebody. So, because of that, we need to watch. You're going to see me posting a ton of model data. I need you to just understand that's where we're at. We're going to be posting model data. I'm going to be posting satellites, recon, all that stuff. So, just understand. I don't want people to say we didn't have time to prepare. I also don't want people freaking out. So knowledge is power. He needs that second breakfast. Jeez Louise. All right. All right. Now, done with analysis. Let's talk. Questions, comments, concerns. I'm sure there's a lot of questions, comments, and concerns. Brian's asking, with this type of path, would we have the typical northeast side of the storm concerns? Yeah. I mean, yes, it just depends how close it would be. That right front quadrant. Yeah, absolutely. It would. Is there a center at 500 millibars yet? It's just starting to undergo tropical cyclogenesis, so we're not there. We're not there completely. I mean, the hurricane hunters are going to get in, they're going to get some data, but very clearly the satellite presentation is starting to show some development. Yeah. All right. Oh, Robin's asking, did I miss the AI model? No, I think I forgot to show it. There's so many models. And they're all beautiful in their own way, in a not so beautiful way. All right, pressure. We'll just do wind. All right, here's the European AI model. Interestingly enough, the AI model brings it up to strong tropical storm force only. Interesting, right? Robin's asking, did I miss the AI model? Isn't it interesting that different models have such different strengths? Now, we were talking about the ships. Give me 2 seconds. Let me find... I'll show you the raw ships data. All right. Right. Here's the raw ships model data. Copy image address. Let me pop this on the screen here. All right, so this is the raw ships model data. Okay. Now, this is just one model, right? But notice bottom left corner, you've got category 2, category 3. So it's making landfall in the Big Bend as a major hurricane. One thing it's talking about, if you look kind of left side above the map, if you look there, it says rapid intensification probabilities. 33% chance of rapid intensification over the next 24 hours time, which is 3 times the climatological average. All right. And then it kind of gets into some other statistics. So, you know, in terms of intensity, like models are kind of all over the place when it comes to that. But I would simply add that intensity has always been the struggle when it comes to tracking storms. And it's not dialed in perfectly. We're getting better with it, but it's not perfect. Yeah. So there it is. Is the Tampa Bay area within the envelope for deeper impacts? It's still too early to really dial into that. I would say that being on the right side of the storm, any bit of a jog to the right that it goes would be a threat for our friends in Tampa and certainly in our area as well in Central Florida. Okay. I have a flight out of MCO 6 a.m. Friday. Chance of it being canceled. This should be clear and out of the way by then. So let's just hope that that continues. B over on YouTube is asking, what exactly is the ship's model? Good question. So the ship's model is kind of the long-standing intensity model. We've got a bunch of intensity models, but the ships is kind of the one that gives you the most diagnostic data. Think of it as it's just the best. So the ship's intensity model is one of these. Okay. But the ships gives us all kinds of additional data that we're able to plot and look at. So yeah, so that's what the ships model is. It's a fantastic product. We've used it for years. It's been updated and updated and updated for years. It's a great product. All right. Sound good? Let's see what else. I have to travel to Montgomery and be there through Friday. Is it too soon to tell? But will we be impacted that far north given its current trend and trajectory? I mean, if we just look at the model paths, okay, and I'm just going to dial up the GFS just for an example. All right, so you're talking about Alabama, right? So give it a second. It's got to go. It's got the data. It just has to go buffer it. Give it a second. All right, so come on, sweetheart. You can do it. It's a Monday morning. I believe in you. There we go. So based on the trajectory, and I'm just using the GFS, but if you look, you know, this doesn't really go, at least in the current runs, doesn't really go toward Alabama. Maybe get some gusty winds, some showers, but like the wind core looks more like a Georgia, there's a Carolina, and just kind of fades from there thing, right? That's the GFS, but it depends what model. And again, when we get, and for those of you that are joining a little late, that's totally good. Recon missions start today. Once that recon data gets put into the computers and the computer models, we'll have a much better handle on where this is going to go. Eric Burris is asking, what do you think on strength? Not me, other Eric Burris. There's a lot of heat potential out there. It's just a matter of how it ends up feeling that heat potential. It's like you get on a dance floor. Do they play good music? Do you feel the jams? That's kind of where we're going to be at. All right. So it's going to take time. It's going to take time to watch. Next couple of days we'll be watching. Connie says, freaking out only because I have a flight out of Orlando Thursday at 1:30. Should I try to get out on Wednesday? I don't think that this is going to be a massive, massive thing for Orlando based on current data. Let's hope not, right? Okay. If this guy or gal destroys my outdoor Halloween event, I may need help rebuilding. Oh, geez. Let's hope that that's not a thing. All right. So let's watch for model trends. Let's watch for model boots and scoots and boogies. All right. We got time to watch it, but there's a high likelihood it develops. Recon missions go in today, so don't be surprised if we get this as a thing. Potential tropical cyclone, tropical storm, tropical depression, could see that. All right. That's where we're at. John says the National Hurricane Center seems to be a little shy or just slow at forecasting this. We're only a few days away from landfall. It hasn't developed yet. So I think that it would probably become a potential tropical cyclone. Well, think about it. So if Thursday is, so think about tropical watches and warnings. Let's just back time because that's all the Hurricane Center's doing. All right, hold on. Give me a second. There's a graphic in particular I'm trying to look for here. Okay, so think about this. Tropical storm or hurricane watches and warnings. They're issued, they start with watches, they're issued when conditions are possible within 48 hours of an event. Okay, so based on the GFS model, let's go back, pull up the GFS. If the storm's landfall is expected around Thursday afternoon, 48 hours before that would be what? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So they don't really need to be issuing watches and warnings for the United States until tomorrow afternoon. So no, the Hurricane Center isn't shy. They're following their procedures. But to them, their watches and warnings protocol gives them 2 days' time. Thus, that's why it is. Okay? So there's still time. All right? Working through something on Twitter. Can you explain recon data? Aircraft fly into the storm, drop little weather stations called dropsons, sample the environment, and then all that data goes into the computer models and gives us a chance to really get some good data into the models. All right? I'm also, James Francis says we have an important UCF game on Saturday. I'm expecting you to use your full meteorologist voodoo powers on this storm. Should be clear by then. Whatever, wherever, it should be clear by then. Yeah. All right. All right. I've got a doctor's appointment for my son. To the over 3,000 of you that are joining, let's just stay dialed in. Okay. Don't freak out. It's hurricane season. It's not even a named storm. It's an invest, which means it's a tropical wave with a tag so that we can run computer models. And we'll be keeping it updated. All right. I will be back live tomorrow morning and be posting data through the day today. Share this with any of your friends or family that are interested in a no-hype approach to weather. And as I always say, thank you for your trust. I will always work to continue to earn your trust. All right? Thank you all for hanging out for Coffee Talk. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you later.